Yes. Yes, we can see when you're ready. Okay, are you ready? Let's start it due to the interest of time.
Yes.
So, yeah, due to the interest of time. So, hi everyone. Thank you for being here today for us to learn about robotics process automation. This is also something new to me, and I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about this. Thank you, Brian, for agreeing to take us through. We're looking forward to knowing what this is about and how we can go about upskilling in RPA. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Susan. So, my name is Brian Kialo. I'm an RPA developer. Currently, I work for a consulting firm where we build RPA projects for different clients in East Africa. So, why are we here? So, probably is to enlighten everyone about RPA, what it is, and showcase probably a simple thing on how it works, so that whoever wants probably to learn can try. So RPA means RPA. I'm a software developer, so I'm more of a technical person. So probably my presentation may not be the best. So before I start, what is RPA? RPA is robotic process automation. So it involves building software robots actually to automate repetitive role-based tasks. Okay, so this will be a software robot that is installed on your machine that now automates repetitive tasks in your daily processes every day. So what's the difference between? I know most people think if you hear about robotics, probably the software robots, those robots you see in movies. But now this is now the software robots. The others are hardware. So you can just imagine how those two things work. No, a hardware robot will do manual work, probably carry something that a human was supposed to carry. So a software robot will do the same thing. So no, why are companies investing in RPA? That is one question that everyone would want to know. One, saves time. Meaning, if you are doing a process, example, a task that will take you 2 hours, with RPA, probably it may take you around 30 minutes. So that is the reason why companies are willing to invest in RPA technologies. Again, it saves money. For money, it's more of how many processes can you automate that can replace sometimes humans. Because I remember there's a process that we did for a lead insurance bank, that is Jubilee Insurance. And we were automating a process whereby if an agent sells insurance, so this person will give their documents, their ID, their bank certificates, all those documents. Then what next? So these agents has to enter these documents in a system. Then after that, after entering the system, now the underwriters have to do their checks. And this person, after doing that, this person has to purchase a particular policy, right? Let's say you have bought a insurance cover for your kids or for your health. Then after that, you are issued with now valid insurance cover. So what will happen? Every month, the bank would, the insurance company will have around 100 agents. These guys, their work is very simple. Just get these document IDs and everything, input them in the system. So we have around 100 guys. So RPA now comes. It tell you can have around 70 guys doing this. Then we have a robot doing work for other 70 guys, for other 30 guys. So that's how RPA comes in. Another thing is reduction in errors. Of course, a human being will get tired. If you are copying data from system A to system B, you'll forget. And for example, like today is on a Friday, so somebody will be saying, "Okay, I want to go home." So they'll not be efficient. So RPA, just like a software, once you develop a software, it rarely makes mistakes. So that's one advantage of RPA. The other one, it improves process efficiency. Efficiency in terms of what? Let's say every day you have to send emails to customers, saying thank you for purchasing our goods. No, tomorrow you'll hire another employee who will have spellings mistakes or will not follow the correct procedures sent in this particular email. But now with that technology like a bot, you'll improve everything will be standardized, so there'll be consistency. And lastly, this is just a comment that we as RPA developers, we face a lot of challenges. And let me just explain to you. When trying to implement RPA, what happens is, most people don't understand what RPA is. So they think RPA is here to take your jobs. No, so once you automate these processes, now your employer is going to tell you, go home, I don't have jobs for you. So what happens is, most employees will not support that project. So companies, the heads and the managers, the top managers, will sit down and say, okay, we want to do an RPA project. Of course, the heads, they may not really know, have deep knowledge about the processes that have to be automated. So it is a subject matters. SMEs that really know what this process entails and how can it be automated. But now you come to this particular person, tell them want to do an RPA. So you're no longer going to be doing this process, going to be done by a bot. Okay. So these people, they Google about RPA, about AI, machine learning, they say, okay, this thing is about to take our job. So most, they don't support their jobs. They don't support those projects. Those are the kind of challenges that we have been facing. So you try, for example, try to reach out to someone, says, no, they're not available. So these are common things we usually preach as RPA consultant and RPA experts. Tell you RPA is not here to take your jobs. RPA is here to help you. If you are going home at 6 p.m., RPA can help you go home at 3 p.m. So that is one advantage of RPA now. Anyone with a question up to now?
No questions yet.
Okay. So somebody would ask, why, if we are talking about software robots, what tools are we going to use? Okay. What is this tool that makes us automate this particular repetitive task? So currently, we have so many tools in the market, which are low-code, no-code tools. So these tools enable you to do automation without you doing a lot of coding. So you may not really need to be an expert in coding. So what happens is, for example, different companies will come up with low-code, no-code tools that you can use drag and drop activities to do a particular task. So, for example, a tool in RP, currently the leading one is called UiPath. I will be showcasing this one. This is what most companies are using currently. It's called UiPath. Microsoft have also have another one, which is coming up. It's a competitor to UiPath. For Microsoft, it's called Microsoft. So it's sold under the Power Apps. I know most of you have heard about Power Apps. So it's sold together with Power Apps and the entire Power Platform tools. Then we have Python. Python, everyone knows about Python, how it is powerful in automation and data analytics. I've also done a bit of data analytics with Python, and it's really amazing. Then you have automation anywhere. This tool. It's a tool that have been there for a while. So for this particular webinar, I'll focus on this particular one, this UiPath. So in the market currently, you'll get these two, UiPath and Power Automate. Then you'll find some other companies in Python, but currently they are trying to sell RPA. So you not want something which is very difficult. You want something which most people can adapt to. So you'll use this code, low code, no code tools to automate. So for now, for this particular webinar, we'll focus on the UiPath tool. So if somebody, so what does UiPath offer? So UiPath has three main components, which is from this particular screen. You can see UiPath has the UiPath Studio. This is now where we do the coding. You know how you'll open like a Jupyter notebook. There's import pandas, there's PD, import NumPy, is those kind of thing, and read a data frame and manipulate. This is now our tool to code. Then after coding this particular code, we compile it. Okay, and it is published. Publishing is more of deploying. How you deploy an application probably on the web somewhere, so that it is accessible and can be managed. So it is deployed on the orchestrator. I'll just be showing you. So orchestrator usually manages our robots. Now, what is running? What have you deployed? Of course, we have not deployed the code. We have deployed the package. Now, the package is what we call UiPath robot. This is what runs on your machine. This is what will mimic what you do. Before we do anything else, let me just showcase how the studio looks like. So it is called UiPath Studio. As you can see, so I'll be showing how you can download it. Don't worry. So I'm just explaining a tool, and then I'll explain to you how you can download it and where you can get it. So if you open this tool, this is
Brian, we're still seeing your presentation, your PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share the screen again.
Okay.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
So it's showcasing this particular tool. Can you see something called UiPath Studio?
Yes.
Yes. So I hope everyone can see. Now, if you open this particular tool, this is how the tool looks like. Now, what do you automate? You automate processes. So a process can be two tasks that are combined together that help you accomplish a specific thing. Might be reconciliation, might be customer onboarding, might be data monitoring. So here you'll say RPA webinar. these are low-code, no-code tools. However, for the advanced projects, we do use coding. Now, which coding tools does it support by default? One, it supports VB and C#. However, if you want to integrate it with maybe a Python code, you're good at Python, and but where you work, probably you guys use Python, you can still do that integration. But the default ones usually this VB and C#. So just create a process, and I'll not be going to so much technical details so that guys don't fear about RPA. So this is how the tool looks like. You can see on your left, you have buttons to save, click. This is a debugging tool where you want to debug. This is recording when you want to do your automation. I'll be showing all those things. Then we have the most important thing, which is usually activities. So activities are sequences that helps you, attain a specific thing. Let's say you want to log into application. What do you do? Who can answer to me? Let's say, for example, today you want to log into an application. For example, an HR management system. Who can tell me what probably you need to do? First thing. So, do you have an idea?
So I just want to mention that most the attendees, their mics have been muted, so you can answer on the chats, guys.
Okay.
Okay, please ask again, Brian.
So, assuming you are employed somewhere, okay, you want to access maybe HR management system. What's the first thing you have to do? Let's say it's deployed on somewhere on the web. So what's the first thing somebody would want to do? Definitely, it will be to access the browser, right? It will be to access the browser. Once you're able to access that particular browser, you're able to see the logins element. The next step is always inputting the password. You click login, then do what you want to do. So those are the activities you do for that specific task. So your path will come up with those specific activities to mimic what you do. That is what RPA is doing. So you want to launch a browser. You write, I want to open a browser. But as I said, there's no much coding, especially when you're doing projects which are not difficult. So you'll open your browser here, and then probably input your input the URL. Then it opens the browser. So, for example, if you were to write this probably in a Python code or another language, of course you'll have to write a few codes before you get to this. Do some libraries to import. So this is how the web path looks like. We'll get back to this one later. So I want to show you how the orchestrator looks like. So we have a free one. It's for beginners who are not doing any automation thing. Any automation for clients. This is for you if you are learning. So basically, this is what manages robots. You see, you had already built a robot here on Studio. So how can it be accessed by someone else? How can the IT admin probably change something? So that one is usually addressed by the orchestrator. Maybe so we usually have folders. No, it's just where you store your file, your project. For example, I've automated a process. I want it to be called finance department. No, you create. Let's say you are doing a project for a finance. Finance. We call it recon. No, reconciliation. Mostly you'll find reconciliation. So all your robots under this one will be published here. So this is where we manage our robots. I'll also be showcasing how this one looks like. So right now I'm just preempting how it looks like, what you'll be expecting. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. So right now you have seen the Web Studio, you have seen the orchestrator. So it is usually a web application. However, for some clients, especially the banks, they want to host their thing. They want the application hosted on premise. Okay, so they will not go for the web version one. So they lost it on their premises and for the security purposes. But it's usually the same thing. So about where it is hosted depends. So somebody would ask, now you want to do a PA, where should I expect to be working? For your information, RPA, it's relatively a new career in our country, especially Kenya. And most people don't really know what is RPA. Even most companies don't really understand what is RPA. But there are some companies that have to use emerging technologies to be the market leaders. For example, the banking sectors usually they're always aware. They're always targeting to use emerging technologies to solve their business problem. As you know, if you're really into business, you'll understand this is one of the most competitive industries. Like for example, if you're in Kenya, find you can either use KCB, cooperative, equity, and you find out that there's a lot of customer churn in this particular organization, in this particular sector. So somebody will say, okay, I used to bank with cooperative bank, but they're kind of slow. If I go there, I have to be in 2 hours, waiting for services. So you'll go to another bank, let's say KCB. After 2 months, they'll say, no. Probably I have to try bank, Equity Bank. So that is why banks will always use emerging technologies to try and retain their customers, also to improve their processes. So currently, all the banks, I think all the leading banks in Kenya, they are using RPA. Now, for myself, I think I've implemented processes for KCB Bank, Cooperative Bank, DTB is another one which I did. Can't remember. There's another one. It's called GTB Bank. So those are around 4 banks which have been able to implement. And what have I learned from my experience? First of all, RPA is good for people who understand what RPA is. See, I think most companies will confuse between RPA, AI, and machine learning. Because you find that AI might be more powerful. You can do more difficult tasks with RPA, with AI and machine learning. RPA will do the most repetitive rule-based tasks that do not require a lot of human judgment. So in banking sector, there are a lot of such tasks like reconciliation. Taking this particular column, match it with bank statements. After matching, the exception, send it to accountant Y to get this data. From ledger files, look at the credits, debits. Those are items which are very repetitive. So this is what happens. This is why RP is really used in banking, even manufacturing. You have done a lot we have done a lot of sales. You want to do some reconciliation, do the same thing. With health, same thing. Health, you have had customers, coming probably after somebody has been treated, they want they want to be released. So there's a lot of that clearing thing. Companies are using RPA to automate insurance. Same thing. I think I started by explaining, for example, processing insurance. One of the insurance that I've seen companies that I've seen implementing projects in RPA. One is Jubilee Insurance in Kenya, Jubilee East Africa actually, and they are really big in RPA. I remember last year I used to implement project for that company, and they were lacking guys to automate. So you'll meet the guys there. You ask, do you want to be an RPA developer? They say, yeah, come. No interviews, you're just trying to become an RPA developer. You see another guy there. So the guys who are doing internship at that company, that point, were all absorbed to this RPA thing because they did not have sufficient guys to do these processes. Now, for example, just to elaborate on that, see, RPA is a new technology. So currently, most guys who are experienced in RPA probably they have 3 to 4 years. Now to find somebody who has been doing RPA since 2010. So that's one advantage. So currently, right now, if you have experience probably of 2 years, you are a hotcake in the market. That's the advantage of RPA. But you will not find a lot of, yes, there'll be some competition, but it will not be a lot. Like you see, like for today, if you are applying for a job in another field, let's say like you want to be a web developer, you're going to be many, a lot of you. So you'll have to be the best. But with RPA, you find companies even getting a senior RPA developer is a problem. Like for example, there's a job that has been going around for Jubilee Insurance. They've been trying to source for a senior RPA developer. I think they have advertised for that job like for 3 months. This month they don't get the candidate they want. Next month, so there's that gap. You also have a company like Britain. They're also doing RPA. We also have Old Mutual. They're also doing RPA. So most insurance companies also doing it. Retail and e-commerce. And a good example is Jumia. I was once involved in documenting processes. See, for you before you automate, of course, you have to do the requirement gathering, which is always basic thing in any projects, not even RPA. So I've seen Jumia even do this thing. Like for example, what happens when you order something, when you order some items on your website. So on the back end, there's a lot of processing that needs. So Brian ordered this. He wants it by when? Has he paid? Has he been sent an email tell you it's going to be collected? So RPA will do those things on the back end. We have telecommunication. A good example would be Safaricom. I think Safaricom is one of the companies that has really done well in RPA. No, Safaricom, I think they have around, that 20 to 30 developers in RPA. It was, I think, first company that started RPA. So, like for example, what happens when let me give you an example. When you call customer care, so you have probably paid some money to the wrong till number. Ideally, you cannot reverse it. So you have to call the Safaricom customer. Okay. So what happens? They tell you, okay, my name is Brian, and they ask their customer care ask you at what time did you pay, and at what amount did you pay. At that point, you are doing that. They are actually entering data in the system. Okay. Then now they'll press enter. So on the back end, there will be a bot that will go query from their DB. Okay, this is Brian. Okay, paid to this customer. Okay, so you want it reversed to who? He writes there. So at that point you are talking with the customer care, there's a bot doing something in the back. Now then she's able to respond. She asks, okay, I can see you sent 600. For example, you had forgotten, you'd said, okay, I sent 700 to this customer, but ideally you sent 600. You'll see her correct you. So how has she known that? It's an RPA bot that has done that. So that is one of the use cases. The other one, even for the M-Pesa reversal. Some companies have, like for Safaricom, I think they have APIs that do that. They also have some bots that do that. So you send, usually, I think once you usually send that particular message to 456. Once it receives, there's a trigger. Now it's able to do the processing. Maybe the processing is, I don't know what happens on the back end. Maybe the processing go back to this application, reverse this particular transaction. So again, this is what happens. That's an example of how telecommunications companies are using RPA. So getting started with RPA, it probably give you my journey when I started on RPA. One, for me, I used to do data analytics. That time I was in campus. So like I was in campus, I was doing data analytics, lot of machine learning, trying to deploy models, doing visualizations with Power BI, Tableau, all those kind of tasks. But I met a guy who told me, oh, you can try a PA. It's like, okay, I don't know what is a PA. So I decided I'll risk. And my journey is I think it's very inspiring because I remember I started at PA. Within 3 months, I had a job. I started, in August. By November, I had a nice job. Simply because I think it was around 3 years back. We did not have sufficient guys in the field. So, and what happened during that interview, for example, I was told, okay, can I demonstrate even a simple project I have done? I shared my screen, ran the bot. Bro, from actually this studio, and it did not work. And now the funny thing, the project did not work. It had errors. That time was a beginner. It had errors. It did not work. But no one realized that this thing did not work. Simply because the recruiters at that point also did not really understand our peer work. So I think I was lucky at that point. So that's how I started at PA. So for you, if you want to start at PA, of course you may not get a job within 3 months, but I think it's a good field that you can try. So where do you get these learning resources? For me, first of all, for somebody who's not really technical person, you know, I'll advise you start with these low-code, no-code tools like UiPath tool. I also have Power Automate, which I'll be showcasing how it looks like. These ones, they'll help you understand programming, and there are so many resources out there that you can use. I'll showcase those ones also. Do YouTube tutorials, obvious. If you are a developer or data analytics, you know, there are so many uh, tutorials on YouTube that can help you. The other thing is join communities and network. We have a vibrant community for RPA, which is really nice, and we are able to help each other. And also we do a lot of networking. So there's also networking. Now for RPA, what I will say is it's called the hidden market, right, Susan, where the companies don't really advertise for jobs. So in RPA is that hidden market whereby company will be told, okay, Brian, do you have an individual can help us? Who can help us do achieve this particular project? Okay, so for me, I look for a guy who has done RPA, probably refer them. And one thing that I've seen is for some time I've really seen jobs and they don't have people actually to refer to. I think it has happened to around 4 to 5 times. I'm trying to look for guys who are doing RPA. All of them I know they have jobs. So in RPA there's that kind of hidden markets, where companies won't even advertise. They look for a guy who's doing it. Then I'm told, okay, can you get us a developer or a solution architect or whoever. So that is the essence of networking. So you have to join these communities, you have to talk to people on LinkedIn, then all things will be good for you. Then we have career paths in robotic process automation. Then if if you are a developer, if you want to choose a developer role, of course you'll be the RPA developer. Then we have SA. SA is the solution architect. So this person actually designs a solution, just like it follows the normal software development life cycle, where we have everyone on board. Then we have the business analyst. Business analyst usually responsible for, we want to automate this reconciliation process. Now, how do we document it? Of course, you have to have session with the users for them to tell us what happens and at what time and why it happens. So this is a business analyst. Basically, this person connects the technical team with the non-technical team. Then, of course, you have the project managers. But for me, if you start with that PA, currently this developer this developer role is more. I think it's the most marketable right now. Then also we have the solution design and those two, the solution architects. I think those two currently are the uh, most marketable currently, because one, these two require individual with technical skills. Like for example, if you have been a business analyst doing other processes like other projects, you can easily come into RPA and document process and do. But with RP, at least you must have that coding knowledge, even for you to design and you must have technical knowledge. So for me, I'll always, if you are starting with RPA, go for these technical roles. Now, let me go to resources where you can learn RPA. I was focusing on this UiPath tool currently. This is what I'll be showcasing. They have a UiPath Academy called so this is free. You just sign up with your email. Then there are various. So for the courses, for example, let me choose this on learning path there. So they said, for example, somebody might want to be a business analyst. So this is for example, these are courses that you can do. After doing this, you will get a diploma as an RPA business analyst. It's just a course that you enroll. It has some various courses that you work on. Start learning now. Then there are these various, you have to go through them. You are collecting data. So I'll not go deep into them. Let me go back to learning paths. Then we have the RPA solution architect. So another one. You are responsible for developing RPA projects. Then we have RPA developer courses here. Now you're able to learn more about RPA. Then we have the RPA solution architect. So, for example, if you learn this course, you'll get an overview of all of RPA, whether it is in UiPath, Microsoft Power Automate, and any other RPA tool. Just get an overview of what is RPA. So let me go to specific some use cases that you will easily understand. So this is one of the use cases that we usually use when you are trying to sell our RPA to client. So we tell you it's not going to be difficult for us to implement RPA, and you're going to save hours and also going to improve your efficiency. For example, and to know if you're selling something to a client, they have to see the value for money. So again, if you tell a customer, no, you're going to save from 10 million to like 4 million every month, that's 6 million which you have saved. So they can easily buy into your idea. Or if you work for your company, then now they'll be willing to buy. So for example, if you work for a company, so what are some of the departments where there are processes that can be automated using RPA? One, there are these departments. You can see procurement is, there are a lot of processes that you can automate using RPA. Finance are the same thing, and human resource. Okay. Average. Yeah, these, okay. I'm colorblind, so I may not really average possibility for automation. So you'll see like customer services. No, this example is what I was talking about. You have called Safaricom customer care. They are doing your details. Their bot is querying to validate what you're saying, whether it is true or not. It's giving an output. So as you have seen, that's why I was saying you can see these finance and accounting, this procurement thing, these human resource, these customer services. They are departments that are very crucial in banking and insurance industries, and also the manufacturing industry. So these ones usually fit in very well. Also IT. IT, for example, how you monitor threats. For example, you have a tool, you have to every day monitor and give reports. You automate that using RPA. It gives you a report and all the monitored threats, what were the outcomes, such things. I want to go to explain something simple. So there's a lot of RPA in accounting. I can share you with the team after this.
Yes, please share with us.
Yeah. I'm looking for RPA in IT. Just a moment, I'm forgetting the page. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's like focus this one. This one for HR. I think this one is something which most people will understand. You are wired this particular person, or you want them to probably access systems. So that is basically onboarding. So on a manual will be send request to IT department for system access. And this person to access system ABC. You do that. Now, of course, the head of the department has to approve. Okay, you have to create a username for this person. Username is maybe a profile which will be having password and usernames. Now, after that, this person has to be given some equipment, laptop, and whatever. Then you have to conduct these new employees. Then you have to provide equipment. This person. That's just an overview. Now, let's come to how a robot can help you. You send request with a robot. You send request to IT department. Now you can see these ones for the blue ones. They are tasks which robot will easily do without much over engineering or over coding. So what happens? You send this particular request to IT system access and to the other department, to admin, this one who's creating working space for this particular person. Bot will easily do that. So where will it be getting this request? Probably it's the data that you have. Probably it is in SQL database, or it is or the HR has some data in Excel. So after that, this particular person who is the approver, now this requires human judgment. See, because they have to find, okay, this person was employed. Is it true or not? He was. So this one requires a human judgment for most companies. So this person will do. What will this person do? They will approve. Once they approve, they probably use email. Probably send an email. Then the bot will access this email. Okay, now it was approved. Now let me proceed. Now this bot will log into application XYZ with admin rights, create username profile, give him the privileges that this person needs. Do the necessary tasks. Send an email to this guy. Tell him, okay, you have been onboarded to a company. Welcome. So you can see from all these tasks were manual, but with this automated thing here, we have two, which will probably remain to a human. For example, this approval of request by, and this the third one, approval of request by department head, and the last one, providing equipment. So providing equipment, like make sure that he has seats, whatever, and a laptop. See, about will not give you a laptop. So that is a very good example of our here. Now in complex processes, because now, for example, for banks, even this approval of request, this one they will put checks that the bot will be able to do. So, like for example, if you automate this particular process with a bot for a bank or for a company like Safaricom, there's a likelihood that this particular part will be automated, because this person will also, for an individual to know that you are employed, they'll have to check data, right? So HR send an email saying, is it? No, all those type of things. So this one is likely to be automated. Part which will not be automated is the last one, providing equipment. So that is a good example of how it works. Now, Susan, do you have some questions before we move to the next thing?
Yes, there's some questions here. Sharon is asking, as an RPA developer, do you have the freedom to choose the tool to use, or does the company dictate the tool to be used depending on the project?
It depends with the company which tools they are using. Okay, there are companies which will prefer that UiPath tool. The other one will prefer Microsoft Automate. Now, what makes a company choose to lay and not to be one? It's the pricing. One, UiPath, as I said, is a market lead. It's very powerful. You can do the most complex processes. Then we have, so it's powerful, but its licenses are a bit expensive. Right? Some millions of money. So if a company is not willing to invest much, they'll probably go for Microsoft Power Automate. Now, why is Power Automate cheaper? You see, currently, if you are working for an organization, they have Microsoft they use Microsoft products. So current Power Automate will come with will come in that is a licensing category which comes with a tool like Power Automate. So you'll find that it may be a bit cheaper. So you can save around 40 to 50 million, for example, if you are using Power Automate compared to UiPath. But now you also have some limitation. So find that there's a project which you cannot automate with a particular tool. But so to answer your question, is most times is a company which chooses the tool they are going to use. However, you'll find that there are companies using those two tools or even three. They have UiPath, they have Power Automate. Like Jubilee Insurance, for example, or some other companies like Safaricom, they have two. They use 2 or 3 tools for you to automate. So if you want to learn, you start with one. If you're okay with it, you move on to the next one. Huh? It's like how, for example, in analytics, we have these visualization tools like Power Automate. It's called Power BI. Companies will use Power BI, the other one will use W. No, others will just visualize data with Python, Matplotlib, such things. So I hope that one answers your question. So
And
yes,
yeah, now there's the follow-up question where she was asking if there's a preference for UiPath to automate in the market.
if there's a
preference, yeah. Which one do people prefer the most, like to see on your resume that you're good at or that you're skilled at? Or will both do? There's no
both
really.
both will do. There's no really a tool which is probably bigger than the other one. It's only that it will depend with the client, which with the company, which tool are they using. If they want an individual who is really good in Microsoft Power Automate, they will look for an individual as Power Automate. If you have UiPath automation anyway, they look for that. So,
All right.
but the best thing is these things are easy to learn. So you learn one like for 6 months, then the next one, like that. So within 2 years, you are good. So I want probably to show how a very small project and how we can probably develop and show you why it is easy to automate tasks using UiPath platform. So just give me a minute. I open my studio. Let me get a use case, for example. Now, one of the challenges in RPA we do not create new applications. We automate we automate existing application. A bot is like a business, A guy who works is in a finance department. See, this person does not create web applications. This person interacts with the existing application. So that is how RPA works. So one of the challenges in RPA is currently there are not so many free resources that you can use to be automating. Like for example, thousands of applications that you can do complex automation. That is a bit of a challenge, but you can still learn with few applications that are there for testing. So let me show you UiPath RPA challenge. So this is a challenge in data entry. So assuming you are a salesperson or you are an HR guy, you have some customers. You have some customers that you have probably sold a product. Now you want to onboard them on your system. so that they can remain in your database, for future marketing. Like it's called retargeting. So I want to have these customers' data. Now, most legacy applications which were developed some years back and ERPs, they don't have the option to upload. For example, let me just download this file. Let's say, for example, you have this Excel file. You sold some details to customers or you hired someone. So you have this kind of data. Okay. Now you want to onboard these people in this particular system, this web. So your task will be very simple. Put email, do submit, go to the next person, submit, do that thing, right? And probably you want to send emails, tell them we are finished onboarding. You can begin the agreement that you started. For example, if it's a job, you can start your job from next week, for example. So what will you do with RPA? So RPA, you have your customers that will come to your studio. So the first thing you have to do, they said, assume this browser was closed, is to access this particular browser. Because if you have to do it manually, what will you do? You'll do Chrome. The application is hosted on the web. That is the first thing that you need to do. Then you look for your website where it is. If it is your onboarding, then click here, right? Then now access. And now start filling this thing. So RPA is supposed to do that now. Let's see how it will do it in the studio. So remember we had created a process, right? And we called it RPA webinar. Then we have this. So on my left here, we have set of activities. So these are sequences that help you achieve what you want to do. Okay. Like for example, if you want to launch a browser, I want to click this and want to do this. For example, I want to launch this browser, so I'll use this open browser. You can see. Then I'll get the URL. I'll copy this URL, put it here. Now we'll do hard coding. You know what is hard coding? Let's hard code every variable here for now. So this will be the particular link to that application. Example. Now, which browser are we using? We are using Chrome. Go back to your studio. On your right here, you can see Chrome. The next step will be, let me just close this application and showcase you. Let's try and test. We see whether it will launch that application. So you can see it has launched this particular application. It has been launched by the bot within seconds. So what will be the next thing? The next thing, first of all, will be access this data. So let me call it our database. I want to input customers data. This is a very simple use. This is a hello world in RPA. So we'll go back to here. It's an Excel file. So you use your languages. Read. I want to read Excel. So user, you can see there's an Excel here folder. It's called Excel. Drag and drop it here. It's not difficult. Somebody use an Excel application. Just a moment. Let's use this one. Those ones I'll showcase in another session where they are different. So you can see here it is written workbook path. So this is the Excel path, then the sheet name that you want to read. So you want the bot to access this sheet one. Then the work, let me get the path. Copy as path. So we get it here. We paste the path there. So this is a path to this Excel. And which sheet do I want to do? I want to do sheet 1. So we expect the bot to read sheet 1. Now, after it reads sheet 1, of course it has to store this data somewhere, right? Probably it is called a data table. So on your output here, so we'll do Control K. Let's call it DT. It's data table. Employees. Now you have stored this thing. Now, if you have knowledge in programming, because it is a data table that it will have rows, right? Row 1 up to row number 10. So after having that data table, of course, you need to go through row number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to number 11. Onboarding each and every customer. So of course, I have to loop. Looping is just going through each row. I'll just showcase you. If you're using a language like, let's say Python, you'll have to do for each row, right? So the same thing here for each. So for each, remember output here was a data table. So here we'll get for each row in data table. Very simple thing, huh? So what is the data table name? Huh? We'll get it. DT employee. This is what we saved here, right? So for each row, what do I do? For each row, I want to, let me open the Excel. I hope I'm not faster. I want to get this name, John Smith, input, and that customer. Next one, like that. So I do something like for each row, I want to get that specific. Eh? So what do I want to? I want to type into this particular activity. I want to type here. I want to type Brian. Right? I want to type planning. Company, Safaricom, whatever company it is. So for each row, you get this particular type into activity. It's called type into. Very simple. Drag and drop it here. Maybe use the most simple one. So what do I want to do? I want my bot to access this one. This is the first name here. Okay. I want the bot to access this first name and type it here. Not type it on the last name or whatever here. This particular first name. I go back to my studio, indicate element. Something we use forgetting. So for each row, so this particular activity is called use application browser. Just telling the bot use this particular use this particular, let me call it page. This one, okay. That is what it is doing. You can see it's the URL here. What do you want to do? I want to type into. So I'll click here. I want the bot to type into this particular space here, first name. It will get they're called selectors. Those are the UI elements. What differentiate this particular you can see where we have this green what differentiates this part here and the second one for the last name, of course, is this label here, first name. So it's called an anchor. So it helps the bot identify which particular field. So you click on it. Click on confirm. Now let me just show you where we edit it. So this is what bot has done it again. So let me just showcase again. Hit the element you want to do, like that. You have your anchor. Anchor is this particular first name. Click on validate. Then now we'll save. Changes. Let me redo it again. Save now. So remember, now here we want to access the row. So there's this item, current row. So which current row do I want to access? I want to access this first name. So I'll copy this first name. Put current row, first name. Now export the bot to type the first name. So let's do that for the others. Use again another type into. Don't want to use this one. I'll showcase later why the differences. Again, you have to indicate. Now we are doing the second item. Should be the second, be the last name. So the bot gets the UI element. Then now it gets the anchor. Anchor which will be the second item. So you can see, I don't know whether you're able to see to where I'm pointing. There's this last name here. So this is what will enable the bot identify the field. Then you click on confirm. Again. So we're still in a loop. First row. Paste these and get the last name. So I'll do faster now so that now you guys understand the sequence. Let me copy these, paste. There's no magic I'm doing in copying, so don't be worried. Get on screen, we want to do email parts. Do the same thing. Yeah, but for some applications they are a bit difficult to automate. So there are usually some other techniques that we use, especially the legacy one. But now for this one, I'm trying to showcase the overall process of creating an RPA bot. We click email, let's get the email on our. So I'm taking the headers. So pick this one, email, and paste them here. Email, the same thing. Copy. Let's do for the next. I want to do for number. So I get the phone number, I get the anchor, and anchor will be now the phone number. You can see here it's using the phone number. So that one will identify the bot. Tell the bot now it's time to type on that specific field. The phone number is on which field? It's this one here. So copy. Bots are not intelligent. You have to tell the bot what to do. So, at RPA developer, you have to be very creative. You also have to think of exceptions that might occur while you are running the bot. I'll showcase that one later. Also, for number, let's do the address. Okay, we want to get the address. Did we get the phone number? Let me this was phone number. This is something else. Let me confirm what it is. This is address. Okay, let's get the address now. So for the address, we'll get it like this. Confirm. Let's get the address. Address is it? Again, if you don't want to input like what I'm doing here, you can still use rows. This is row number. This is 0. This is first name will be 01. Now what will be the challenge of doing that? If you change it, for example, this one comes to column H, no, it will give you the wrong output. So that's why you have to use header names are more stable. This one you'll into, and if I forget a field, you let me know. Paste. That one is we have done address. You have to do the role in company, right? You have to do this one. Role in the company. Then you have to do the company name. So role in the company name. Now this role in the company. So then you have to do the company name. This is a very simple sequence. Which I think after this, whoever wants to do can even create tonight. Then we have company name. So do like that. Do the anchor. The anchor is the company name. Then confirm. Control C. So the company name will do company name. Okay. Then we have to click submit. After we have done that, I think you have to click this submit thing. You can see submit. So it's a specific thing. So said it mimics a human. So we do click the activities. Want to click. Let's use this. It was which one? Submit. So I want to get submit. Let me see. That's okay. Now, how do you validate whether it has gotten the right thing? Just click a light, because it is a lighting. Then you click submit. Now, let me just come back here. At the point we are reading Excel, we have with that Excel database, we have many options that we are doing. So sometimes an Excel may not contain headers, so you will untick this one. If it doesn't contain headers, if you want to use the headers, then you have to tick that one. Sometimes for companies, Excel will have password. If, for example, it has some password protection, so you have to input the password here. You have to, if you want to read a specific range, maybe from A1 to C2, you put the range here. So now let's close the browser. We see whether we'll be able to do what we want to do. Let me close the Excel. Let's see whether our bot will work or it will not work. So before you run the bot, it was very simple. Just open the browser, get this Excel, and look through and do everything what you need to do. Let's see whether the bot will be able to do any work or not. It has accessed. So it is input. You can see it's doing that very fast. It has clicked submit, doing the next row, and you can see the fields are changing. In a few minutes, you expect the bot to finish. So for this, for example, for an RPA bot will do data entry. Still working on it. You can see it looping through the rows. I think my browser is not properly set up. Let me. I think it's almost doing the last one. I think it has finished. So you can see it has been able to do, let's see the execution time. Within 1 minute and 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's a very simple example of how you want to. Let's try and enhance this thing. Example. Do you have some questions? Is that no?
No questions.
Okay, I hope you guys are understanding how RPA works. These are very simple. No, let's assume since sometimes, for example, if you are doing projects for a company, every day you have to get data from somewhere in a particular folder, then you have to do the manipulation, probably log in another system and do something. So what are the checks that are there? For example, see this particular file, every time it may not be there. Okay, this one here, this particular Excel. This particular sometimes may not be there. So there's some checks. So how do we handle that? Which to check whether you can do something like, does this particular path exist? Will do path exist here. So this one you're going to check actually even before you do anything. Just showcasing how RPA development is not a difficult thing you want to do. So my first thing, even before I run the bot, I want to check whether this file is existing. So I'll put this particular path here. Do like that. This is a path. What is the output? It's going to be a boolean. A boolean will give you true or false. Is this file there or not? So give it path exist. This thing. It's a boolean. So if an if condition, if you do programming, you understand an if, it checks whether certain criteria has been met or not. So look, write an if condition here. Get it. This path existing, path exists. If true, if this path is exists, do all this stuff. Example. This path exists. I want you to log into this. If you do not, if you don't exist, let's say we want something here. Let's say like a message box, something pop up. You want. Let's say be a user. Be a user. File does not exist. File doesn't exist. Okay, we already know this file, this particular specific path. So let's try change this path. Let's do like 4. See if we'll get this particular, what will happen. See if we have that file. It seems that we have that file. Let's change something else. I think I have this. Let's confirm whether we have this file. Control C. It's called WinRun. We have this file. So let's. I think that file is. I think I've downloaded too many files. So let's put a path which is not there. Like why. But you find, for example, you are supposed to get this file in the morning. This bot is supposed to run at 8 a.m. That file is not there. The bot is supposed to send you an email telling you don't have emails, don't have the specific file. You can see, tells you dear user, file does not exist. Then this is just an example of how we handle such scenarios. Then it will stop. See, it has not logged in to do all that thing. Now let's assume I just want to show this something else. See, let's get that data. See, for example, let's assume you wanted to this data. Let's assume you only wanted to. Let's assume you are, for example, you had advertised for a company, a job for you are an HR guy. You wanted a guy who has qualification probably in IT, right? So what do you want to do? So I want to get this specific guy. Let's say when you apply for a job, we have millions of people. So you want to see how many people were doing IT jobs before. So I want to do that filter. I've gotten this data from a source somewhere. Now I want to filter. Only interview those people who have a degree in IT, for example, or they have done IT. So I want to get this IT thing here. What do I do with a bot? Called data manipulation. So in Excel you will filter, right? Same thing here. Here you will filter. If you are doing, for example, with Python, we'll do those pandas thing and filter. So here I will have data table. It's called filter data table, this one. So let's see where we filtered it. Because you can't filter data before you see it. So filter data table. So it will be here. So what was our output here? Our output was this DT employee. Now, what do I want to see? I want to get a guy who has a specification in IT. So then I send an email to them telling them, okay, now you come for the interview this day. So IT, so my output will be, I have to filter this data and let's say IT. These now I have this database here. which rows do I want to keep? I want to keep only rows which contain IT specialist or IT, right? We'll get this thing here. Let's give an overview of how, those companies here, they have, those companies here, they have, it's called what? Is ATS, applicant tracking system. Some are using bots to do that. So they'll input conditions in a CV, then the bot will read your CV, tries to match. If it doesn't have those conditions, then your CV is thrown out. So that's why when you are doing your CV, it has to be customized. So I want to check which row you are checking for this value. This is an example of how HR uses bots to do their filtering. I want to filter by this row. Column was rolling the company, right? Now, so after filtering this guy, I only want to onboard that customer in this application, which you had shown here. This is a person I want to onboard in my system. So of course, you'll change this data table to our BTIT guys, right? By doing that, I will want to have their data in for example, in another Excel, but companies don't use Excel as database. They don't store data in the Excel. So they'll use DBs like SQL and whatever. So I want to, for example, store that particular person in my data, in my Excel. So I'll pick right Excel here. So after the bot has finished onboarding that person, let me pick this one. I want to write that specific doing my to keep. So the HR will do this. So let's give it the same path. So that was it. So I want to write it. So we'll do the path. Because you'll store them in a variable which can be used, but for now allow me to do that one. So candidates, let me call it candidate, something like that. What was our data table? It was DTIT, right? TIT, let's see, and find it here. Let's see why. This data table, no, there's something called variables here, and variables have a scope. See, a scope is a limitation of where you can find it. Okay, so it can only be found on this specific sequence called do. So what do? I enhance this scope from probably the main, but it is accessible everywhere within my project. So I'll do employees. Then I want my data to have Excel. So I'll add to have header. So I'll just stick this on headers. Then I want when my bot launches a browser to do one thing. Enhance this browser. So maximize it. So let's just give you just the way you do things manually. Space window. That. Now let's see what happens. I think this is the correct path. One thing before you do, you have to close these Excels. That's usually one thing you have to do. But in automation, you just automate the bot to be closing the Excels. So, let's check what happened. Let me get the path to this. Let's see. Um, okay, we were targeting to get this one. So let's redo it again. I think something we missed. So for this one, okay, this particular value. This one. So we want to that contains. So I want this by Excel to have delete this one. People editing. Not do the configuration expected. So those are some of the things that we'll be doing development, issue debugging. So I only want to keep where the role in the company contains IT. So let's assume we're using the same path. 3. Now let's debug so that you see what happens. Debugging is when you are whereas then you want to run the pod. So I want to debug so that we see on a daily basis what will be happening. So you click step into, let's see these. There's so many browsers. Let me close these browsers first of all so that you see what is happening. Let's debug again. Now to launch this browser, it will do.
Hi, Brian. I just wanted to let you know we're past time already.
Yeah. So after you can see it has only done for that specific person. Then now it will input that data in an Excel. So that's an example of how you can filter candidates. For example, you just have to announce this thing, and it works. An example of how RPA you can do onboarding, you can filter CVs and have the right people you need. I don't know if you have questions, guys.
Yeah, there's one question. Someone is just asking if you are working on a task like in a bank, as you have
Yes.
mentioned earlier, is there
Yes.
a risk of bot accessing admin tasks and maybe exposing sensitive information such as passwords?
No. One, as I said, this bot is not a human. It is intelligent. It is not intelligent. You have to program it. So whatever you tell the bot to do, it is what it does. So the bot will not access something which was not programmed to access first of all. And before, even in companies, before you access particular application, you must have the rights to do that. So those ones they are well taken care of.
Okay, there are no more questions.
Okay, so let me just do the last one thing. So if you want to, let's say we have done a huge project now you want to publish on the orchestrator for the management, which is we'll do our publishing. So this thing is published on the orchestrator, which I had shown earlier. Which I'll just show you. Publishing. This is what we call deployment. You can see deployment for RPA is very easy. Now we have deployed this thing within seconds. Now we'll access our. Let me see. I can access. Can get automation cloud. So this is where the bots are managed. Let me see. So it is called a process. You can see this is all called RPA webinar. So we have deployed our bot. Now, assuming you are a user, user does not need to see the studio. So there's something called assistant. It's called UiPath assistant. This is where they run the bot from. And this is how we'll install it. So a user will install it from wherever they are, then they run the bot to do the automation thing. So that's a nutshell of how RPA works. So if you really want to do more research about RPA, I would recommend you start with probably UiPath. UiPath has so many academies that can help you. So do YouTube tutorials. Just need to Google and you'll see. So when you also get in touch with me, I can help you do that. My LinkedIn profile is Brian Chalo. You can find it there. So I'm on Instagram, but I'm not active. I'm not a social media guy. So, but if you find me on LinkedIn, I can help you if you want to do it. So I think, Susan, if there's no other question, I think that's what I had for today.
Thank you so much, Brian. And you're also in our community, right? So people can also find you there if
Yeah,
they want to ask you questions.
yeah.
All right, you'll share with me the slide. No, yeah, you'll share with me that other one. There was a slide, a PDF with areas of
This one,
how it's used.
use cases.
Yeah, and then I can send them through email.
Yeah. And I hope you have learned something, Susan.
Yes, I have. I will look at those courses that you shared as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Okay, so I think we can come to an end. Thank you so much, Brian, for your time and for taking us through this. What has fascinated me about this is that it's no code. So I think it's so much easier for people to grasp it compared if
Yeah.
it was a code-based thing.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much. I'm sure we've all learned a lot. I'm going to share this recording on YouTube for you to go through it. Also, if you want to remind yourselves of some things that Brian had said. And yeah, I guess we can call it Friday. And I wish you all a good weekend. And I will see you on our next webinar. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.